Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, riding shotgun this week, PC muscle race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
Yo.
Hi, LeRon.
Hey, Corey. What's up?
What's this? No, what's popping?
I don't know. It feels kind of odd when it's just us. You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
It feels kind of odd.
No, you know, Stephanie ditched us tonight to be with her.
Right?
Do the women's panel thing that's going on.
What is up with that? She has nerve. She has some real nerve.
Look, it's fine. You know, they have friends. You know, Celeste and Stephanie and everybody on the women's panel. They've got friends. You know what, LeRon? We got friends.
I hope so.
We're our own.
I guess we're yeah. I was just about to say we're our own friends.
Oh man, how's the week going, man? How's your week?
I feel like it's still a continuation of the last week, which the last week was just like stress and no fun.
Yeah. No, I hear you there. It's been a pretty stressful couple weeks for me too. So we're getting ready for vacation, which is why we're kind of recording 2 episodes at once right now. Mm-hmm. Just so everybody can kind of have a week off next week. And yeah, but you know, due to scheduling and the magic of editing and stuff, you'll never know.
Unless we tell you.
Oh man,
I am behind on the editing of last night's Crossroads, so like it's not gonna be officially crossing the finish line until tomorrow.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's okay. But LeRon, we're gonna knock out some patrons real quick.
Let's do it.
Move my laptop over here. So here's the thing. Here's the big deal right now. We're recording. I'm using my at-home laptop as a kickstand for my work laptop while I'm using my PC as a streaming device for the women's panel. It's just a mess over here.
This does not bode well.
No, it's fine. Look, it's fine. It's all good, man. It's all good. If you want to support us over on Patreon, you can head over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork, where you can subscribe to us monthly for early access to our podcasts, or the $5 tier, which grants you early access and a Patreon producer credit. You get early access to 5 shows, including the Boss Rush podcast 1 week early,
yes.
Boss Rush After Dark 2 weeks early, Expansion Pass, Talk the Walk, 1v1. Our Patreon producers for this episode of the Boss Rush podcast are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, my wife, Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, Rebecca Jewell, and our newest Patreon producer, Christian Skipper.
All right.
I want to thank all of our Patreon producers. I want to thank all of our patrons. I want to thank all of our free listeners. Remember, all of our content remains free. We just provide you with a few perks if you support us. If you are a free listener, leave a 5-star rating and review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, all those good things. LeRon, what are you doing with your life? What are you playing? What are you doing? What are you watching? Star Trek, right? I saw something about Star Trek somewhere.
Yeah, Star Trek Prodigy. Like the second half of the first season started back up last Thursday, and Star Trek Lower Decks wrapped up its 3rd season last Thursday. Hang on a second.
Oh no! Here he goes, rolling away, coming back.
It's getting warm up in my room, so I just turned my fan on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but yeah, so Star Trek Prodigy. Start out with a bang. Star Trek Lower Decks went out pretty nicely. Can't wait for the new seasons. You know, whenever they come back, because it looks like after Prodigy wraps up, looks like we're going to be in a deficit of Star Trek until 2023. So there it goes. They spoiled the hell out of us. Like they just ran every Star Trek series back to back. As soon as one was ending, the next one was starting. You know, it was glorious. I haven't had that much new Star Trek in my life in forever.
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing, right? They're kind of doing the Disney plus Marvel Star Wars thing where like when one ends, another one begins to try to keep you subscribed, right? That's like
pretty
their
much
thing. And so it's like, what? Star Trek? What's that's on Paramount Plus, right? What's Paramount's
Mhm.
other big thing that they're trying to keep you subscribed with?
Let me think about this. Because honestly, like Star Trek is the only thing I worry about on Paramount Plus.
Right. I mean, I
But
guess
they've got
Halo.
yeah, there's Halo, but Halo's on break. Even
Yeah.
though I know they've gotten approved for a second season, but we don't know if they're getting approved for a third season. Um, but I mean they've got the other like CBS shows, so like
Right.
like Blue Bloods, Equalizer,
Blue
um,
Bloods.
yeah, the Tom Selleck show,
Yeah, I know.
the cop show, yeah.
I just
Um,
haven't, heard that name in a while.
all those FBI shows, that show Evil, which Evil and and all the FBI shows, like my personal trainer's been trying to get me to watch, and it's not that I don't want to watch them, I just haven't made the commitment to watch them yet.
Right. Hmm.
And I need to start. What I need to do is I need to start watching the Interview with the Vampire series that just started, as well as the Quantum Leap reboot. I need to start those.
Oh my gosh, that Quantum Leap reboot. I saw a commercial the other day. It was like really creepy. It was like about The Exorcist or something. It was like really creepy. So, uh, let's see. What have I been doing? I mean, I've just been packing and getting stuff ready for vacation. I have been playing a lot of Near though. A lot of Near. The game's really good. So you're muted, Laron.
Did you start any Bayonetta 3?
Uh, no, I did not. So this is what I was talking to Ed the other day. I was like, kind of feel like if I don't finish the other two, I kind of feel like a poser for starting three. you know?
Oh, you never beat the first two?
No, I didn't. I don't. I mean, I like Bayonetta. I don't care. Like, I don't know. I don't. I feel like I have to be in the mood to play those games, those types of games, And
Mhm.
I'm already playing one action game right now, and I don't know. It's just not.
That being near, right?
Yeah, yeah. That being Near, and I'm also trying to finish Link's Awakening, and I've also gotten hooked on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 HD again for some reason.
And you're playing on the Switch too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh but the thing is they gave it a 60 frames a second patch. So it runs really smooth on the Switch.
On the Switch?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. In handheld mode it runs at 720p 60 frames a second. I'm like, "Sweet. Play this all day." Uh
Okay.
and then for some reason I re-downloaded the Madden 23 trial from because if you're a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you get 10 hours of free Madden. so,
Yeah. How
uh
many hours did you run through the first time?
Uh, so I played 2 games the first time, which ran about an hour, and then I've
Mhm.
played about 5 games now, which is about an extra 3 hours. So I've got like 5 hours left. Um, Madden's still not very good, and every time I play a game online, somebody ends up quitting. So, that's fun.
No big shocker there.
No, I'm just too good, man. Just too good. Uh, no, it's just one of those things where like as soon as you make like a good play on someone, they just like disconnect. Like if they're trying to like chuck the ball down the field or whatever, and you intercept the ball or cause a fumble or something, they're like, "Bro, I'm disconnecting." Or if you score on your first drive, they're like, "I'm disconnecting." I
Yeah,
think I've
everybody's a big fucking baby when it comes to sports games.
yeah, and so I think I've completed out of the what 5 games I've played online. I think I've completed one. So
That's a shame.
it is. There needs to be some sort of disconnect kind of thing, but there's not. There's no penalty for quitting. There's not
I
even
wish there
like a
should be.
like you don't even get a loss on your online profile. You don't even
Yeah,
like
yeah. I mean, I feel like at best that's what, especially if they can determine if you're habitual. You
mhm.
know?
Yeah. The only thing they give you, you have a disconnect, a did not finish percentage,
Yeah.
but you have to dig into the person's profile to find it. They don't put it like straight in your face. And it's like, well,
Mm.
so I went to like one of the people that quit, I went to their profile and looked at their disconnect percentage and it was like 70 something percent after they
God
quit on me. I'm like,
damn.
"Oh my god, dude,
God damn.
70%? 70%?"
And
Oh,
it's like there's no penalty for that.
No, there is zero penalty for it. So, uh, but yeah, that was fun. But my wife and I also watched this show on Hulu called Reboot. It's like this. It's a sitcom that's like they're rebooting an old '90s sitcom, but trying to make it more
Yeah.
serious and whatever. It's really
Have
funny.
you paid it? Have you paid attention to? Because my boyfriend and I are watching it too. Have you
Yeah,
paid attention to the titles of the episodes?
yeah, they're all sitcoms. Yeah,
Yeah.
I pointed that out to my wife on the third episode. I was like, I think all these are named after sitcoms. I think all the episodes are named after sitcoms. She's like, you're right. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm always right, except I'm except I'm not. But anyways, but it was really good. We finished it.
Oh, you finished it? Because
Yeah,
we're on episode 4.
yeah, it's really good. It kind of ends abruptly. Like
Oh, really?
I
Does it
think
end like
there's
there's not going to be another season, or
no
so
it
not that abruptly?
no it just the thing is like the last. It's one of those things where like the season finale could have probably been like 3 episodes and it was one. You know,
Uh
they
huh.
try to cram too much into that last episode and it just was like, meh, you know. Uh, but yeah, it was good. Now we're trying to find a new show to watch, but Dead to Me's third season on Netflix comes out when we get back from vacation. So, which has Christina Applegate and Linda Cardellini in it, and we really like that show. It's just it hasn't been back because of the pandemic. It's been off
Yeah.
for like 2 years. So,
Isn't
um,
Christina Applegate going through some stuff now? Isn't like she's having like a hard time walking or something?
I don't know. I don't know.
I thought I saw something. I thought I saw something on that. I like don't quote me on it, because like it could have just been some random shit and I just misread or misinterpreted or something. But
Yeah,
I think something's going on with her. Like
huh,
she's having like a physical ailment.
huh. That's sad. I hope not, but you know, that's sad.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, man, that's kind of it. Work. I've been working a lot lately. Work's been super busy.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah. Same.
we added a new podcast to work, and so we've been trying to schedule guests for that. Plus,
Hmm.
like, there's let's see, this is the fourth event in 4 weeks, and there's another event the week I come back from work too. So it's like or from vacation. So it's been super busy. I mean, it's good. I would rather be busy than not busy, but it's taking up a lot of time and kind of stressing me out. And it's fine though. It's all good. It's all good. Work is work.
Yeah. Oh, I also forgot to mention that I'm still working my way through the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection.
Yeah.
If everything goes right, I should have like Uncharted 4 beaten by Friday. That
Mm,
way I can get into the Lost Legacy, because because like if no one realizes this, like last month was basically nicknamed Broketober, because there's
yeah.
so many damn games that came
I
out,
know.
over the course of October. And this week is gonna be like the calm before the storm, because like this week had some games releasing, but like it's not really anything, it's not really anything that is like making like people's like bank accounts like tremble in fear, unless of
Yeah.
course Harvestella is your thing, which
Yeah.
I'm not clowning that game in any regard, um but um but yeah, like it's the calm before the storm, because next week is God of War.
Yeah.
And like it goes downhill from there. So basically I've got this video game roadmap right now,
Yeah.
where I've got to beat the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection. Then I got to finish Ghost of Tsushima director's cut. Then I jump straight to God of War, because I never beat the original God of War, the 2018 God of War, and speed run that quickly, because my roommate is buying God of War Ragnarok for PS5. So by the time I beat God of War, he should have beaten God of War Ragnarok, and then I basically continue playing God of War Ragnarok, and that will coast me right into December, when the Callisto Protocol comes out,
Mhm.
and the Callisto Protocol will hold me over until Dead Space remake comes out in January.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
There's
yeah,
a lot coming
I have
out.
a roadmap. I have a
I
roadmap. So if we do this right, I will actually have a total of 6 games beaten before 2023 rings in.
oh no. uh I I've
Here's my
been
question though. Here's my
yeah.
question though. The Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection. There's 2 games on that. Do I
Mhm.
count that as 3 games beaten?
No. No. You get 2. You do get 2 games, you don't get 3. Uh Although I did hear that Sony's playing around with the idea of porting the first 3 games over next year. So, that'll be cool.
Because they realize they shot themselves in the foot. There's a reason
I know.
why there's a reason why the Legacy of
You know what
Thieves
they should have
collection.
done? You know what they should have done? They that like in January or February, they should have released the first 3 games to get people ready for this collection on PC.
Yep, yep.
Those first 3 games are so good.
Yeah. As a matter of fact,
2 and 3 are amazing games.
I think I was telling Andre and Stoy this because like last week's Crossroads we talked about how like Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection was underperforming on PC for Sony, and it was the first game that like technically underperformed because right now Sackboy Big Adventure is underperforming, like it's horribly underperforming. But then again, I didn't see Sackboy really pushing units on PC,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah, but I said like like if Sony hadn't if when Sony released the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection for PS5, like if they had any idea that they were going to be so delayed for so long, with the getting the PC version out, because like they basically made it seem like we are going to get it by the beginning of summer for PC.
Mhm.
If they and I also have theories because I thought Nixus was handling the port of this, but no, it was Iron Galaxy, which Iron Galaxy is not a bad company, but
Mm-mm.
we all know like Nixus is who you want to have doing your ports right now. We all know this.
Yeah, especially
But
I mean, like, you bought Nixus specifically to do that for you.
yeah,
I
yeah,
wonder if
but
I wonder if they were
well,
already under a
it's because
contract with
they're
Iron Galaxy.
it may be, but Nixus was busy doing the Spider-Man games, and
Yeah.
I think Nixus is also handling the port of Returnal
Mhm.
for PC.
Yeah, plus, like, Adam Boyes is, over at Iron Galaxy, and he's old Sony blood, so they probably still have some sort of relationship with them to do things for them if they need to.
Mhm.
Um, so
Yeah. So yeah. So anyway. So that's my logic for why it possibly took so long for the Legacy of Thieves collection to come out for PC.
Mhm.
Because I mean, you and Stephanie know this. Like I was bitching and yelling about that game coming on PC just as much as I was bitching and yelling about Advance Wars Dual Boot Camp
Mhm.
Reboot Camp coming to Switch.
Yeah.
But yeah. So if they had any idea that the game was going to miss its original like early summer deadline, they should have just thought about porting, like the Nathan Drake collection. So we get 3 games to tide us over until like the game finally arrives, like 8 months later, the game
Right.
that we really want to play because I think it just hurt them,
Right.
and also to be honest with you, PC gamers, they've seen how fast like Sony wants to get certain games out after they release on console. So it's kind of like you need to stop jerking us around.
Mhm.
You need to legit like take it a little more seriously. I'm not saying like release day and date same time, because yeah, software piracy is a thing, especially on PC, and I get that. But at the same time, like you don't want to lose momentum on these games, or you might as well just hold on to these games 3 years, while to get interest back in them.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, like Spider-Man sold well, but that's because it's a 4 year, yeah, it's a 4 year old game.
Right.
Miles Morales is going to sell well because like we're riding the momentum of the Spider-Man remastered for PC.
Right.
Um, but Returnal's going to sell well because like everybody's heard about how balls crushingly hard Returnal is on PlayStation. So PC gamers want to like get their palates wet with that one.
Right.
Um, so yeah. So I feel like and the Uncharted and they keep saying that The Last of Us Part One remake is coming to PC soon. As a matter of fact, it'll probably be out by December. By December to get ready for the January 15th, like launch of
Right.
the series. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that seems like a good week to put it out. Is that like the week of or the week before that show comes out,
Mm-hmm.
or like maybe like that week that first episode comes out, you put the game out or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they got to do something with that because I think that's
They need
important.
to. Yeah, they need to just I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying they need to be like in a hurry to get the PC ports out, but like Sony sees when people want to play these games, like they buy these games and they play those games because Steam DB doesn't lie. When it has concurrent users, that
Right.
stuff doesn't lie.
Right.
So I don't know the Japanese companies now, and I'm saying Japanese companies meaning Sony and Nintendo. Like they both have their shortcomings
Hmm.
when
Yeah.
it comes to
Well,
like how they market, how they sell, and how they basically handle the fan base.
yeah. Well, we know Nintendo's shortcomings all too well. So,
Yeah,
uh, uh, but yeah, I mean, I think I think that uh The Last of Us and Uncharted are just like those are such pivotal games for Sony, not just Naughty Dog, but for Sony in general, especially Uncharted 2 and 3 and then the first Last of Us they basically I don't want to say they go so far as they saved the PlayStation brand, but they brought the PlayStation 3 out of like, you know,
yeah.
the dungeons of you know, the 5.99 US dollars conundrum and I think that I think that those games especially Uncharted. I'm not the biggest Last of Us fan as you know, but like I think Uncharted is probably my favorite PlayStation series. Even though I think 4 is a little bit too long. Uh but 2 and 3 are spectacular games. Lost Legacy is awesome. Um and I'm excited to see what they do with this fifth game because there is a fifth game in development. I don't know if you saw that going around
I saw
where
that. I saw that. I don't. I don't
um
know if I. I don't know if I quite. Well, I
well, no,
believe it. I believe it.
Sony is starting a new development studio in collaboration with Naughty Dog to bring back a beloved franchise. That was their
Watch it be.
statement.
Watch it be Jack and Daxter.
Oh gosh, dude, no, I'm sorry. I like Jack and Daxter a lot. The first game, I don't think that series needs to come back. I think
They got
if
way too. They got way too loose with all those sequels.
the thing is like 2 and 3 were like GTA clones.
Yeah,
And like I think the second best Jack game is the one that wasn't developed by Naughty Dog. It was the
you talking about the racing game?
no, Jack and Daxter Lost Frontiers, which was the fourth game that I think the studio that did the fourth Sly Cooper did that game. It was for PS2 after the PS3 had already come out. Um,
Why don't I remember this game?
because nobody bought it. It sold less than 100,000 copies.
Hmm.
Because I mean, by the time it came out, people were actually starting to buy PS3s, and
Why the? Well, then why the fuck did they put it on the collection?
because it wasn't developed by Naughty Dog.
That was a mistake.
Hmm. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. The rumor is that the studio is going to be called Naughty Dog South, uh, but we'll see. We'll see.
There's a
Uh,
Naughty Dog North.
well, I mean, what Santa Monica, I guess, versus what San Francisco, I
Is
guess.
is Naughty Dog in California?
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know that.
yeah, they're in Santa Monica, right
Man,
by
I feel like
Sony Santa Monica, and
I feel like the lead host of the Crossroads show should know this shit about PlayStation. I really do.
yeah, I know. See, I know a lot more about
Who
PlayStation than
hired
I
that guy?
I know. I mean, we'll say that for later. I I don't know. PlayStation's an interesting brand, and I like as much as I like my Xbox Series X, and the only reason why I bought it was to play Destiny at 60 frames a second with my friends. Um, I kind of wish I would have gotten a PlayStation 5 first.
Hmm.
I'm just I like what Xbox has to offer, right? The smart delivery stuff is super easy to use, and like my PlayStation would just be a exclusive machine anyway.
Hmm.
But PlayStation at least has first party games out that I enjoy. And
Yeah.
not that I didn't enjoy Halo, right? Like Halo Infinite was good, but I would rather play Horizon and God of War than Halo and Forza,
Mm,
you know.
right.
And I've been really disappointed by Xbox's output. And their two best games were Sony exclusives, right? Like Deathloop just came out on Xbox, which I just downloaded on Game Pass the other day.
Uh-huh.
And uh what's the other one? Ghostwire Tokyo doesn't come out till next year. And then you're going to get this flood of Bethesda games. And it's like, well, okay, that's nice, but where's like the games I'm looking for from Xbox that are like Fable, and I'm really interested to see what Perfect Dark is, and I'm really interested to see what a lot of these other things that they're working on, because they have like 30 games announced and none of them are out. How do you have 30
Hmm.
games announced and not out? I mean, it's just
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like I get like you want the studios to take their time, but you also got to have producers that like make sure these studios hit their timetables. And I get that you're spending all this time to try to save Halo right now, and uh Gears is looking to be like shaping up to put out some sort of collection again, and it's like I'm tired of these collections, man. All these games are backwards compatible. They all got the 60 frames boost. They all got the 4K HDR auto HDR features. Like, what do you need to do to these games, to make them Series X ready? Like, I get that. Like, I mean, I guess it's the same thing that Sony did with The Last of Us Part One, but it's like, what more do you need to do to Gears 1, 2, and 3 that like you can't just play 4 and 5 and get? It's I don't know. I'm really just I want something new from Xbox, and it's upsetting. It's just upsetting that you like invest in these consoles. I mean, these consoles aren't cheap, you know, and you expect something new, and all I'm getting from Xbox are like older games that look prettier and run nicer, which I really appreciate, but that should be like it should be like the icing on the cake, not the cake presented to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know. I know next year is a pretty big year for Xbox. They've kind of been making the round saying next year is going to be the biggest year for Xbox yet. Like
I really want them to succeed. I do.
I do too. And like Hellblade looks really promising. You know, Fable, I guess the rumor is now that the Microsoft is working with Embracer Group to have IDOS Montreal help them make Fable. They already have Crystal Dynamics helping with Perfect Dark, and it's like, man,
Didn't Embracer Group just drop like one of the people they just acquired?
I don't know actually.
I gotta check that. I saw something. It was like one they newly acquired. Maybe it wasn't Embracer. It was.
Um,
I gotta check. I.
I know that one of the studios changed their name. Square Enix Montreal changed their name, I think, which would make sense since they don't aren't owned by
Yeah,
Square anymore.
Embracer Group shuts down Montreal video game studio.
Which one?
Shutting down Onoma, a Montreal Canadian-based video game that it acquired just months
Onoma.
ago. Yeah,
They just they just announced their rebrand
that
like
was
2 weeks
that
ago.
was that was Square Enix Montreal actually.
Yeah, they just announced their rename like 2 months ago. They shut them down?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Jason Schreier reported this yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
insane. They just man, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, Embracer like
Are they about to be the next EA?
no, what they're doing is they're acquiring IP, and they're going to do what Disney is doing and say, "Oh, you want to make a Tomb Raider game? Here's the IP. You can make a Tomb Raider game."
Hmm.
Uh I'm telling you, I think they're going to try to I think their major pieces, which would be Crystal Dynamics and IDOS Montreal, I think they're going to turn around and sell them for more than what they paid for them and keep the IP, which would really suck because Crystal Dynamics Tomb Raider games are awesome. But I still think Microsoft should have bought them. That was my opinion.
Yeah, me too, and that's
Instead
the
of
other thing too, like,
I
that's
would
a
have it for $68 billion.
you
Like
read my mind.
you could have bought you could have bought and they're all games they're missing, right? Third person action games. You could have had Tomb Raider. You could have had well, I guess not Hitman, but like you could have had like Guardians of the Galaxy, that contract. You could have had Deus Ex, which I know isn't really, you know, a third person action game, but it's something that fits in your portfolio if you're looking at arcane games, right? Similar. Like you could have had that and then, spent that other another $3 billion to get Bungie back and then spent a little bit more money to get IO Interactive, which is someone I thought they should have purchased a while ago, right?
Yeah,
Like, and instead, you're going through this big stupid thing with Activision. Doing it for what? Call of Duty and Overwatch and Diablo that nobody wants. I mean Overwatch is popular, don't get me wrong. They had 25 million players that first week and a half or whatever, but I don't know, man. I just feel like that out of all the acquisitions, that was the first one where I was like, man, that's a questionable one, especially because Sony spent what 3 billion on Bungie. That was
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
man. I would have
I'm
much
trying to
rather.
I'm trying to think. What went first? Was it the act? Okay, no. Okay, here was a sequence of events. They got ZeniMax Bethesda. Microsoft got ZeniMax Bethesda.
Uh huh.
Sony got Bungie, and then next thing, and then within like
No,
what like
no, it was Sony acquired like they acquired a bunch of smaller studios like Nixus and
and
uh
Jade Raymond
yeah,
and
and Haven, and they made that what's the multiplayer studio they have a partnership with? Devastation?
yeah,
Deviation.
Deviation Studio,
Yeah.
yeah, and then
And
they
then and
they
then there was a
they Housemark, they got
yeah.
Housemark, yep.
Yeah, and then there was a bidding war for Bungie. And so like Microsoft and Sony were in a bidding war for Bungie. And
Hmm.
then this Activision thing came crashing down, and Microsoft decided to try to go after Activision Blizzard to try to save that company from looking like a dumpster fire. And so instead of spending 3 billion on Bungie, or probably could have outbid Sony easily for Bungie.
Hmm.
You know, I bet that price tag probably could have gone upwards of like 10 or 12 billion
Yeah.
for Destiny alone, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I I don't mind the acquisitions, but there are certain ones that would have been smarter. And I don't know,
I
given
don't.
given Xbox some content for Game Pass, that's not no offense to indie games. I like indie games, but it just feels like there's no AAA to supplement the indie, you know?
Mm.
Like
It's some
up
that's something I think about too, like, because I also don't have any type of like ire towards indie games. Like I feel like some indie games are definitely, like
mhm.
some indie games actually keep these AAA platform developers on their fucking toes. Like Kena Bridge of Spirits, for example, Death's Door,
Yeah.
like almost all that shit Devolver Digital puts out.
Yeah.
Even their shit that looks like, like it looks like a quintessential like indie title is like this shit looks like fucking AAA, stuff
Right.
like that, but at the same time, I'm like, like instead of trying to woo these indies, that by putting content on your platform, why don't you throw them a bone and give them like triple A money and see what the fuck they can do?
Right. Yeah. It's just like, man, and like you look at something like I wish more companies would do what Nintendo did with the developers of Cadence of Hyrule and Crypt of the Necrodancer, right? Like I think if you gave Yacht Club something like Castlevania or Mega Man or something, they would knock it out of the park, right?
Hmm.
Or, NT Creates or Way Forward or some of these smaller studios that do great work in terms
Yeah.
of retro style games. And I mean, look what Dot Emu did with Ninja Turtles, right? Like
Yeah.
that was super awesome tribute to those old games. And it's like, I don't know, give them I guess Streets of Rage is a terrible idea because they also did Streets of Rage 4, but give them like a more beat 'em ups or something. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just I don't know. I guess my point is like I'm just kind of disappointed in my investment in Xbox because I expected so much more by now, and like I've spent my money at this point, and I can't get a PlayStation for a while, not because they're not available, just because like you know can't I
Yeah.
can't I just can't afford to spend that money right now. So,
Yeah,
but
I mean, yeah, there's just wait, there's so much we could talk about, but yeah, like like, and just seeing this whole pissing contest right now between Sony and Microsoft about the whole
right,
Activision thing, like it was funny in the beginning, but now it's like give us a fucking break, like, and like I don't know, I feel like the CMA, like the commission over in the UK, that
hmm
is like it's got this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're just trolling Microsoft right now or if there actually is a plan here.
right, yeah. So I don't know. I hope Microsoft finds their footing because they have a lot invested in. They have like not
Mhm.
the box itself, but they have a lot invested in Xbox with cloud gaming and Game Pass and just all these other things. And
And that's the other thing too. Microsoft reporting that they're not making like the we talked about it last night on Crossroads.
oh, they're not hitting their numbers that they wanted.
They're not hitting their numbers. Like
Well, that you can't
this
hit
is gonna have
numbers
a
if you're not putting out first party
if
games.
you're not
Like
putting yeah.
here's the thing though. Like all the games that you have on Game Pass, you can play
Mhm.
somewhere else. You
It's
know,
for real, for real.
and I'm not talking about the first party games that you can play on PC. I'm talking about like the indie games. And I think that I know they want people to play on PC also, but I think that might hurt them in the long run.
Yeah.
Like putting them out day and date on PC. Uh, I think Sony made
I've
the smart
always
decision there.
yeah. Sony did make the smart decision there. And not I feel like I feel like Microsoft's problem is they gave us a little bit too much of what we wanted, because
Yeah.
yes, like it is always nice to be able to say, hey, I've got the subscription service. It's just like back in the day. Remember when Netflix was legit, just like, well, they still
hmm
send you DVDs and Blu-rays
Oh
in
yeah.
the mail, right? But remember being able to get them on day one,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and by day one, I mean they were already in the mail, sent to you when the movies were supposed to be shipping to the stores to hit the shelves.
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and I feel like shit. Now I'm saying it. I feel like Game Pass is the Netflix of games.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I think I mean I wonder if like if Sony's PlayStation Plus stuff takes off, I wonder if like I mean we saw the rise of Netflix and how popular it was until it wasn't, right? Like now
yeah,
Disney has overtaken them, HBO is catching up, Paramount
yeah.
Plus is doing its
Shit.
thing, right? Like
Redbox for a hot
Hulu,
minute was eating Netflix's lunch.
right? It's like, you know,
Yeah.
you were doing so well and then
Uh,
you got greedy or, all these other companies wanted a piece of the pie and Netflix is stuck with, quote unquote original content, which I know a lot of people like their original content, but like you look at someone like Disney who has literally 100 years of
yeah.
classic things that they can
Like
throw on
like
a
there's like
service.
there's like real legacy.
Yeah, I mean next year, right? Like we were talking about this when we were planning our Disney trip. Next year they're celebrating Disney's 100th anniversary as a company. And so like there is literally 100 years worth of cartoons, movies, shows, whatever,
And
plus everything they've purchased through Fox and uh Marvel and Star Wars and Indiana Jones and all these other things that they can throw on there. And it's like, and like all the Sony stuff's going to come there after its contract is over with Netflix. And it's like, how can Netflix compete with that? I know people don't.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people don't care for Disney as a company, but like, how are you going to compete with that with original content? Your original
Yeah.
content has to be fucking good to compete with that. And I don't think a lot
And
of
and
Netflix's
and
content is up to par with some of that stuff.
oh, I agree, because I mean, like I can't think of how many times, like I sit there and I think, like, I I don't even hold the Netflix for their original content. That's the sad part, because like if
hmm
I looked at their original content for why I need to hold on to my Netflix subscription, I would have been stopped subscribing
hmm
to Netflix.
Yeah, I
Like
don't even. I don't even
I
remember the last
honestly,
time I was, like, excited for Netflix original content. Like, my wife and I watched Grace and Frankie, but, like, it was just a show that we had already started watching, right? Or a lot of the
yeah,
shows we're watching on Netflix are things that we've already watched and we're just continuing to watch, you
yeah,
know? And, I think, like, and I know this is just kinda like the whole situation, but I think the beginning of the end of Netflix was actually when the whole Kevin Spacey situation in House of Cards had to revamp their
yeah,
entire thing. Like, that
yes,
seems like the point that you point to and be like, "This is the beginning of the end of Netflix."
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So, man, good time. Subscriptions, I guess. Buy them
yeah,
if
I
you want,
know.
I guess.
And, and also the fact, one more thing, like Netflix is legit being too damn greedy. They're like the fucking sheriff of Nottingham right now.
I
Like,
know. Did you see they're raising their prices again, and they're gonna start charging to have
and they're gonna
extra
start
people on your
charging
account?
for, yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah, like y'all make it real easy. Honestly, y'all make it real easy for people to want to pirate y'all shit. Yo, you do.
Yeah.
Like,
Or like,
and I'm not saying keep Netflix cheap, but yeah, like, there are people out there that remember when Netflix was $7.99.
yeah, I do.
Like,
How do
it's
you
not.
think I
Yeah, it's not
survived?
like it was like it's not like it was that it's not like it was that recent. Like,
Right.
shit, like Netflix used to, and like, and I get it, like the cost of their servers and everything, because, like, hell, you gotta have these servers, you gotta be able to provide the bandwidth for everybody to be watching shit in 4K HDR, and
Right.
all, for people who spend $17.99 a month for that stuff,
Right.
yeah.
So,
So but yeah, at the same time, like, people can get that shit elsewhere, or they can get that shit at a better premium.
yeah, it's insane. Um, all right. I know we wanted to talk about this VR stuff real quick.
Yeah,
I know this is probably going to be a shorter episode, everybody, but it's because we're trying to cram a lot into one night. But yeah, this PSVR price tag is steeper than I thought it was going to be. Although I think Meta's $1,500 headset gave them a lot of wiggle room, to be
oh,
honest with you.
that is true. But I love when stuff like this happens. And Sony is good at doing this shit. Sony is good at one upping people.
Yeah,
The moment they decided to, like, step out, out of turn and whatnot, Sony is like, oh, watch us, fam.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because no, honestly, when Meta announced that they were raising the price of the Oculus 2, but I think it went up by $100.
yeah,
But then they had the fucking nerve to put the Oculus, like Pro, out for $1,500.
yeah.
I was
Did you?
like, and like specs wise, is it doesn't even match PlayStation VR. That's what made a lot of Sony people worry, because it's like, we don't even have a date or price for PSVR 2, and Sony has been tiptoeing around how much they're going to charge for this. Like, at Crossroads, we were speculating that that it could not cost more than the system.
Yeah,
Like,
and
we were expecting it was either going to match the price of the system, or it was going to be $100 cheaper than the system.
I thought it was going to be 499 was my thought.
You thought 499.
Hmm.
I was saying 399 or 449. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, my thought was like, well, I was looking at the specs. I was like, I'm sure they would love it. I was like, first of all, it probably depends on how much the next Quest is going to cost, which, whatever, Facebook fucked that up. But
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, it can't, even if they go on that, it can't cost more than the system. I think, like, they could get away with it being more expensive than the digital only version, but
Yeah.
I thought that it was going to be 499, and I the only thing is like those controllers are super interesting and intense and like just super cool, and I know the resolution of the screen is super cool, and I know like it only requires one USB-C cord, which is even better than the original hookups, but like the consideration of like no backwards compatibility, which I get with the controllers and stuff, that's fine, and like
Mhm.
some concessions in terms of like like how the headset is built and stuff. Like I just thought they're gonna have to bite the bullet and hope people buy games for this thing. Did you see the Horizon bundle that was also announced for $5.99?
Yeah, for 5.99. Yeah,
Yeah, which I think is probably okay, right? I
yeah.
think that's probably
I
okay.
think so. I don't have any beef with that.
Yeah. I wonder if it's going to come with some sort of Astro's Playroom type demo at least.
Like something to like help you figure it out.
Yeah, I
That'd be
think.
kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, it works so well with the PS5. I just thought, that probably should have probably happened with VR2.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, I've never really messed around with VR. I would probably consider this if I had a PlayStation 5, honestly. But that price tag, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wonder if it's going to be if there's going to be some sort of steep discount at some point for this, like the first
They're
one.
probably. It depends. It depends on how well how well the user base interacts with it. Because I think was it you guys I was talking to in our private like our text chat, you and Stephanie, or was it the Boss Rush writers room? Because I was talking about how like like stuff like this like it's technically bleeding edge like technology, and right now like they're like like Sony has to like be banking on like early adopters and and people who are just like collectors to like buy this because this is the money they're going to use to throw back into research R&D to like make it better,
Hmm.
and also to be able to help developers that want to develop it for because there I know it's developer interest for VR like it's I don't think it's the next logical step for gaming, but it is
No,
it is another road for gaming and stuff like
the
that.
the thing is like VR for gaming is like an accessory, and I think I mean not necessarily an accessory, but I think a lot of people view it that way still,
I
and
do.
that gaming is kind of like the gateway for other technologies and other areas of work. Like I know VR is like a really big thing in the medical field and training in the
Hmm.
medical field, and I think uh maybe you can correct me on this, but I think the military is starting to use VR for certain things, and
They are.
I think using VR to train people in certain things. I know pilots use VR in certain situations too. Like VR is a really cool thing, and games are kind of like the proving ground, I guess you would say, but it's I, I still think gamers look at it as an accessory, and I think that's why the price tag looks so steep. Um, but also, we don't have this in our hands. There's a lot of onboard memory for to hold games, right? Like the games, you can store the games on the headset. Does it have a hard drive in it or some sort of memory, or do you have to store them on the PlayStation itself?
That I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Because that would be like kind of a big bummer if you couldn't. And I think maybe that's, man, I don't know. Uh, but anyways, I think that the PSVR looks cool. When I get a PlayStation, I will consider getting this at some point. Um, I guess I could trade in one of my 3 Switches and my one of my 2 Xboxes for one, which I've
You
actually
know,
considered doing. Because like, I mean, I'm gonna keep my launch Switch because I keep all my launch consoles, but, like, I have a
mhm.
Switch Lite that I've turned on twice for some reason. I have one. I don't know why. I It was like an impulse thing.
The sad part is you don't even trade it in. Like I guarantee you, like if you put it for sale, like people will give you damn near asking price.
I know, especially with the memory card in it. Like,
Hmm.
I think I have a
Hmm.
128 memory card in it, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah. What is that? What is that like 8 times more than what they
yeah, I
what
think
they give
it's
you stock?
I think on board is 32 gigs, I think, on the Switch Lite,
Okay.
which is like what, Zelda
All right.
and
That's
Mario Kart,
all right.
maybe.
That's four times. It's 4 times more. My bad.
But
I thought they gave you a 16.
yeah. But like I've been thinking about trading in I like my Series S and it works, and it's like great for streaming and like having in my office, but like I don't need it. I've been thinking about trading in my Xbox One X also at some point, uh, or
That's not a
selling it.
launch one.
What, my One X?
Your One X.
It's the Project Scorpio edition,
Okay.
which is like the launch edition of the X. But
My Switch is the revision too.
yeah, so I don't know. I have a lot of things I could get rid of to get
I
one, but
I've already
Uh,
said though, when I get my new Switch, like my original Switch is getting jailbroken.
yeah, yeah. I thought about doing that to my launch Switch at some point. Um, but yeah, I mean, VR is cool. I really want to play the Horizon game. I think that looks cool. Um,
Mhm.
I hope they port some of the older games over. Like, they have to have like their own version of Beat Saber and that kind of thing,
Yeah,
right? Because Beat Saber is so
yeah,
popular.
or they might just launch the sequel to Beat Saber.
Yeah,
Um,
Beat Saber 2.
yeah,
Just beat it. I don't know. Uh, so yeah, I that price tag though on that Meta Quest 2 Pro or whatever. It's just like
ridiculous. Like I was like, y'all really.
yeah, and
I don't honestly, I can't honestly say for sure if this price for the PSVR 2 is ridiculous. All I know is I feel like it's in bad taste that it's like more expensive than the PlayStation console when like the saturation rate of the PlayStation 5 itself is not
Mhm,
where Sony wants it to be. So
right,
Sony is like I think for the third month this year, like PS5 has topped the NPD sales. So
yeah,
congratulations, Sony.
yeah,
Congratulations. Like you're finally starting to like take a piece of take something out of Nintendo's lunch bag there. Good job on that. But at the same time, it's like this still doesn't mean like it's where everybody wants it to be. You know, but good on them. And the fact that they are somehow in this economy, they're able to put systems into people's hands. And they're not and the systems aren't melting down. On someone's entertainment stand while they're playing.
right,
So
yeah.
as a matter of fact, that's have Corey. I don't have you heard anything about like these first gen consoles? Yeah, the new generation like breaking down. I haven't really
I
heard a
I
lot about that.
I mean, I heard there were some PlayStations at launch that didn't that kind of wouldn't play with certain games. Like I know Returnal, a lot of people are having trouble playing Returnal for some reason on launch day systems.
Mhm.
And I know that some launch Xbox Series X's were like they didn't play discs for
Oh,
some reason.
that's not cool.
Yeah, and I know some people like had to turn their consoles into Xbox to get their drives replaced. But I
Mm.
mean those were so few and far between that it wasn't like a it's not like a Red Ring of Death situation, where like, oh my gosh, gotta spend like $2 billion to fix this problem. Um, but yeah, I mean, I haven't really heard a lot of things, except for like controllers, launch day controllers getting drift on both consoles too now. I don't know if you heard about that.
I have.
Yeah. On all consoles, this stick drift, man.
Oh, what is the deal? What is going on?
I don't know. I still use my launch Joy-Cons for my Switch and they still don't have drift yet.
Every now and then I get scared that I have Joy-Con drift going on my Switch and realize that my Joy-Con is just being way too sensitive because like I have my thumb on it, but I have a little bit of pressure on it,
Yeah.
and it trips me out sometimes,
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, like the stick drift. Jeez, come on.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
But that's probably why I'm going to spend $200 on the PlayStation 5 Pro controller.
oh, you're gonna get
First of
that?
all, it'll be the very first Pro controller I've ever bought for any console.
Mhm.
And like I feel like, and it's not even the fact that like I'm getting it because it's the first one Sony has done first party. I just look at it and I'm like, man, like this is a rugged DualSense controller that still keeps the elegance of a DualSense controller.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look like a Frankenstein's monster like how the first Xbox one looked like. The first one was not
Oh, the
attractive.
Duke controller
Oh, no, 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 not
or the
I'm
Pro
talking about the
controller?
first Pro controller
Oh,
that
the
Microsoft
first
had.
the first
I can't
Elite
remember.
controller.
Yeah, the first Elite controller. Yeah,
It was interesting.
it made the Xbox controller lose some of its charm, basically.
Yeah. I did not get I'm not getting the Elite controller until they take the rubber padding off of it. I can't do the rubber
You're talking
padding.
about the current one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Hmm.
uh
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Well, my hands are I am really sensitive to rubber, and so like my hands get real dry and crack and bleed and stuff.
Oh, that's right. You're the one with the latex problem. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So, uh, yeah. Is there anything else you want to hit on, or you want to get on out of here?
I think we're good.
All right.
We talked
Uh,
about a bunch of shit tonight.
we did. We did. I like these one-on-one chats, LeRon.
I know, right?
Hmm. Who needs that Stephanie girl? You know, no, I'm just kidding. No, I guarantee you their
Oh,
episodes are going to get like twice the amount of listens ours to.
I
Just,
right.
dude, I've had their window open on this side, just making sure everything looks right and is running right, and like they're just like, I don't know.
They're having the time of their lives, aren't they?
Girl parties are the best. Why weren't we invited? I guess that was my
Slumber
fault, actually. To be
Boss Rush
honest.
Slumber Party. That's what you should call that one.
Oh man,
No, that's an After Dark title.
yeah,
That's an After Dark title.
yep. All right,
Like the kiddos that listen to Boss Rush podcast, they're not ready for that.
no. Oh man. All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here. I want to thank everybody for listening or watching the Boss Rush podcast. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at Boss Rush Podcast. Find all the content on bossrush.net. LeRon, thanks for spending like an hour with me tonight. This was fun. And where can we find you?
Just basically look me up everywhere by looking up Exodus 803. Social media, YouTube, Twitch,
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation Network, Steam, all those good places.
Yes, all the good places. You can find
Episode
me.
100. Oh, I'm sorry. Episode 100 Crossroads Podcast is coming up next. Well, not next, like next, but
Well, by the time this comes out on Patreon, it might be the next one. So
yeah.
So
We're gonna have some fun, hopefully.
yes, super fun times. Can I come to that? Can I be there? Can I?
You want to be there? Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to just like invite myself, but
No. For real. Like, you know what? It'll be the first time we've had 6 people on the show.
6 people. Who's all going to be there?
Well, Nelly and Austin are coming back.
Ooh.
Yep. So it'd be me, Stoy, Andre, you, because were you on our first episode? No,
it was on the second episode.
You were in the second episode, but you were in the background on the first episode because I had not quite gotten the legs yet to start streaming by myself.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I think we actually streamed that first episode to the Boss Rush channel or something.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
so Nelly and Austin and you makes 6. You know, shit.
Sweet.
And then, starting after episode 100, we're trying to have like a guest on every week on the show, except for special episodes. So like episode 101, will be us coming back to talk about God of War Ragnarok. So I think it'll just be the 3 of us, unless we get a really big God of War fanboy up in here.
Yeah, I want to try to do that. I'm trying to do that too. Obviously, like the last few weeks, besides this episode, we've been trying to have somebody different on every week. Mm-hmm. Even like new people, right? Like people we haven't had on before. So yeah, I'm also going to try to do that on Pal Block at some point. But yeah.
Oh, also Crossroads has a new Twitter handle. Yeah, so like if you want to stay in the know or stay in contact with us over at Crossroads, hit us up on Twitter at Crossroads_VGP. Crossroads_Video Games Podcast, VGP.
Nice. You can find me at I am CoreyHG on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Nintendo Power Block and various other things here on the Boss Rush Network. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to this episode. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you listen. Until next time, we love you. Goodbye.